those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need bad energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took a L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep.
Stay awake, don't sleep. Let me know in the comments, baby girl, if you hear me loud and clear. And it's so funny, right at the end of the intro countdown, I looked over and saw my mic was muted. So you be proud of me. I clicked it. I'm like, oh. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Midday Motivated. I'm your host, J&J Video Reacts. Hopefully everyone is having a wonderful day, wonderful week, wonderful holiday season. I know it's also the season that people tend to be a little bit down if you've lost loved ones, or, things aren't where you want them to be in your life. And, and I feel you, trust and believe. I feel you. We all go through things. We are all going through things. And, the bottom line is that is the purpose of finding out about this thing called life. Okay. We all have to go through no matter what. And that's the topic of today. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because I have talked about it many times. And, it's so crazy. I was, doing my usual morning ritual, and take a sip of my little decaf here. And I asked the universe, what am I going to talk about today? What else is near and dear? What is there left to really talk about? And the universe gave me the answer of, hey, talk about every day, which you know best. And that is the power of acceptance. Talk about what has helped you in your healing journey. Even if it's the same message every day, damn it, if it works, keep talking about it. Because the power of acceptance is huge. And when I say huge, I mean huge. Did I say huge? Huge. Reason being, it takes the power away from fear. Fear, again, is one of the most debilitating things that we can possibly have our minds attack us with. Because it gets into your bloodstream, man. It gets into your psyche. It gets into your chi. And when you allow fear and anxiety to overtake you, whether it be through PTSD, whether it be through OCD, bipolar disorder, whether it be through actually having a physical ailment, then you make things worse by doing that. I ran across this video today, and shout out to the channel Impact Theory. I watched a video this morning, and I shit you not, it reminded me so much of a stream that, and I have the link to the video that I'm speaking of in the description of this video. So if you want to go check it out yourself, shout out to Impact Theory, go subscribe. I think it's a really good channel, and I can't wait to dig into some more of his videos. But he had a guest on there by the name of Hal Elrod, and I filmed some clips, and in fair use, I did alter them so that the outcome is a little bit different. I've sped up the voices and did something with the coloring so that it's actually altered from the original state. So it's a new piece of artwork, basically. And the reason I did that, it was because I thought these points that were being made were extremely important, and I didn't want to get any type of copyright claims or issues based on that. and hopefully YouTube will indulge me and not, bring the hammer down. I tried to do the best that I could with this by using the fair use. This is for educational purposes. And this is for helping people. Okay, so let this one go through. But this guy Hal has been through the gambit. I thought, cancer. I thought, and it's so funny because literally right after, it's so funny, right after I survived the cancer, I was in a car accident where I was in my Kia Sportage. I'll never forget it. And I flipped over 3 times because somebody sideswiped me in the snow in Baltimore, Maryland on I-83, rushing to work in the morning, on somebody's ass. And I said, what am I doing? It's snowing, it's dangerous. Let me get out of here. And I pull over, go all the way to the right lane. This guy follows me and skids all the way over, cutting off the car in the middle lane to try to cut me back off because he didn't like the fact that I was riding his ass. In doing that, he went over a little too quickly and didn't have enough space because I was moving a little bit too quickly. And instead of him being able to have enough room to get in front of me, when he went over, he hit the tip of the front of my truck. And those of you who know about Kia Sportages know they are flip prone. At least they were. I don't know if they've stabilized, the suspension on it a little bit better, but they were flip prone then, which is something I didn't know. Um, I learned. I learned the hard way. This guy tipped the front of my car and around I went. Next thing I know, I'm saying, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and hanging on. But oddly enough, I wasn't afraid while it was happening. I was just like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, I'm flipping. I'm actually flipping. And I could see the world in front of me going around. And this was right after, literally, when I say right after the cancer, I had cancer in December of 2002. This accident happened somewhere in the neighborhood of, I want to say, February, March. And I can't bend the beginning of my finger because I walked away with this being my only injury. So I was truly blessed. I was blessed twice in 3 months. And 20 years later, still here. So, and I'm starting to get it. Maybe these streams and this reach that I'm starting to have with people and getting through with the things that I've been through and what has helped me, um, is why I'm here. Maybe it's some people that are going to be saved by some of the things that I've learned. And then when I am finally gone, these live streams will live on and somebody will see them and be like, wow, you know what I mean? That helped me. So I realized why I'm here. So yeah, I'm gonna do it to the fullest. And here's the situation. I looked at this video on this channel this morning and I thought, I'll be damned. This guy wrote a book called Miracle Morning. This Hal Elrod guy, which I'm gonna dig up and listen to. I may have to read. Hopefully some money's coming. We could use it. But Audible, I got rid of my subscription because YouTube has a lot of books on there that you can listen to. YouTube has a ton of audiobooks. Shout out to YouTube. That you can listen to completely free. And so I got rid of my Audible subscription. But if I can't find this book, I may have to get it back if it's even just for a month or two because I want to hear this book. But it's called Miracle Morning. And it's because he found out that, a lot of successful people do morning rituals in the morning. And his morning ritual consisted of meditation, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and journaling. Well, I did all but two of those every morning. I do all but two of those. You guys have heard me talk about my workouts in the morning, and also I do yoga and meditation. So I thought, wow, okay, I've got a part of the. I don't listen to books before first thing in the morning or do any type of journaling. Maybe I have to add that in. I don't know, but this guy said some things and I said, damn, I literally said the exact same things on my stream. What's the difference between him and me? If he's successful talking about this, then well, there are some obvious differences, but we are not going to go there. Because I don't believe in that. I don't play victim. I don't play the race card and victim and all of that crap. Okay, you already look. Oprah Winfrey If that doesn't prove to you that Black women can be successful, I don't know what will. Okay? Billionaire, Black woman. Okay? So nothing can stop you. Not your skin color, not your race. That's bullshit. So yeah, not saying there isn't systemic racism. Hey, yeah, it is what it is. But did she let that stop her? Hell no. Am I gonna let that stop me? I'm gonna let you answer that. So, and damn, I tried to see if I could record. Shout out to Karen Everett. I was in the middle of a live stream last night with my wife. And I went over to Karen's channel. I went over to Instagram to send her the stream, and I saw that she was live. And I went in and I said hi. And do you know that she gave this channel a huge shout out? And I'm so grateful to that. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for believing in me and believing in my message. And if people like Karen ever believe in me, then I know there's more people like her out there that are going to believe in me. And somebody's going to pull a sister up. Okay. Somebody's going to pull a sister up from the struggle. So I'm just going to keep going and keep my eye on that happening because more people need to hear my story in the way that only I can deliver it. So trying to fly like an eagle, boo. Trying to fly like an eagle. Um, but yeah, so this guy had the same message. And I thought, damn, we had a live stream talking about this exact same thing. So without further ado, what I did was I broke it up. I didn't want it to be these long, lengthy videos. So I cut it into two clips. The first one is going to be, um, the host introducing this gentleman. And then the second one is going to be something that he has learned that we've talked about on the stream. So let me let you hear it.
At the age of 20, he was involved in a catastrophic drunk driving accident that was so violent it ripped his car in half and actually took his life. His heart stopped beating for a full 6 minutes, and over the next week, as he lay in a coma, he died 2 more times. He finally stabilized, but doctors warned that he may never walk again. But just as everything in his life were finally humming along, he found himself near death once again. This time, it was a very rare, very aggressive form of cancer that took him from symptom-free to the verge of multiple organ failure in just days. And once again, through discipline of thought and action, saw his way through and back to health. The Hall of Fame business achiever, Hal Elrod. What's crazy is even all the madness that I talked about in the intro, I didn't get to cover one of the crazier parts, which was what happened when the economy went bust in 2008. You lost like half of your income and had to fight your way back from that.
Okay, and honey, I hear you trying to come in, and I don't see a box. So, but you hear all the stuff this guy went through? It sounds very similar to my story, doesn't it? First the cancer, then the car accident. Well, with him, it was the car accident first, then this aggressive form of cancer. And he, in this, got through it with a very, very simple rule. And when I say simple, I don't mean simple in the execution of it. I mean simple in its simple in its theory and what it does for you. It really is just this simple. But doing it is another story. Let me play the second one I did for you.
So I was 20 when I had the car accident. And a year and a half before that, I had started a career in direct sales. And I learned something in my training from my manager called the 5-minute rule. He said, so when things go wrong, we have a rule. It's okay to be negative, but not for more than 5 minutes. Give yourself 5 minutes, set your timer on your phone. He would literally teach us, set the timer. You get 5 minutes to bitch, moan, complain, cry, vent, punch a wall, whatever. And after 5 minutes, you take a deep breath and say 3 really powerful words. Can't change it. And it's simply an acknowledgement that I can't change what's already happened. So there's no value in wishing it were different. And essentially I learned through reading Eckhart Tolle and things through years after that every negative emotion that we have is self-created by the degree of resistance that we have to our reality.
Facts. Facts. Absolute facts. Have you or have you not heard me say that on this stream several times? Eckhart Tolle is huge, okay, in his theory of the power of now and in his teachings. It's not just a theory, it's true. If you live in the moment and stop focusing on what has already happened and what could happen, then you leave yourself no choice but to deal with the present moment. And when you take away the soap opera in your mind of what you have projected might happen that's catastrophic, and realize in that moment that it was just a dream, and you're literally sitting here in the moment and none of that is happening, then it's a very, very liberating experience. And the more I do it, the better I get at it. And I'm like, wow, I'm really with my head right now. Whoa, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Come on, get in the moment and move forward, you know? Um, so it's so funny because this guy is teaching the same exact thing that he learned from a sales. And I was in sales for many years, especially in my early 20s. And it does teach you things like that. So he was right. Nobody ever taught me the 5-second rule. I came up with the 5-second rule on my own because I realized that, and he goes on to say a lot of the same things that I'm about to tell you now in the video. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to dwell on something if it's not going to change what's happening. Okay? If it's inevitable. He talks about the fear of death. It's inevitable. Why would you look, I figured out the quote that Jessie Lawless says. Shout out to Jessie Lawless. If you don't know her, go check her out on TikTok. She said, getting offended by something someone says or does on social media makes just about as much sense as walking and stepping in dog shit instead of walking around it. Why would you be offended by something that somebody says or does online? And it's not that you don't have a right to be offended and respond to it, but now you've just let that person, what they did in their life, totally put you in a negative vibration, and you gave it resistance. Anytime you give something resistance, it's pushback. It's hard. That's why working out works so well. Because what are you doing? You are resisting. You are lifting something that is heavier than what you would normally be lifting. And there is a resistance there because you can't just lift it up like a pencil. There's resistance because it's extremely heavy. But if you keep lifting that resistance, what happens? You get stronger, your muscles build. Okay. The same thing works true when you do that in your thinking. Okay. If you stop and take away the resistance of what is in the moment, whether that be you having some type of health crisis going on, whether you are bogged down with debt, whether you are, you know, losing your relationship, whether a loved one has passed on, it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter. Those things are what they are. You feeling bad about it and constantly inundating your mind with negativity about it and allowing it to well up with feeling about it over a prolonged period of time does you no good. It doesn't do the situation any good because now you've completely become less than yourself because you're bogged down with this fear and this anxiety. So you can't handle the situation like you would if you had your right mind. And if you went through it as though nothing actually were happening to you. You feel me? And if something is happening to you, it's very hard. It's very hard. And don't get me wrong. This is where I talk about the fact that it's easier said than done, dude. It's yeah, just don't think about it. No, I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying dismiss it. If you listen, it's saying the first thing we're saying is as jacked up as the situation may be, whether it be physical, mental, something completely going on with someone else that's out of your control, you have to accept it. Why? Because it's going on in that moment. And if you are being true to form and living in the moment, then you accept it. Whether you want, and here's the kicker, whether you want to or not. I talk about death a lot. Death fucking sucks, in my opinion. Some people look at death as hey, I can't wait. Okay? I'm moving on. I can't stand this life. I'm out. Okay? But me, I like my life. I like who I'm with. I like where I'm at. There are other things that could be better. But as far as life goes, I got no complaints. And this is somebody who has dealt with life altering situations and life threatening situations on more than one occasion. But I'm here. So I have no choice but to accept. And I do have a choice. Yeah, I could take myself out, but I choose not to do that. I choose to accept what happens. Blindness. I am no longer capable of seeing centrally. I have no central vision whatsoever. What was I going to do? Crawl under a rock and die? Or never do any? No, I took that opportunity and taught myself video editing to challenge myself. I accepted what was there. I took the cards that was dealt and played a better hand, which is move forward in joy. Okay? Because you have that right. You have that right to accept whatever life has given you, because that's the very first step to getting through the shit. Okay? You got to accept it. If you constantly are resisting it, doesn't that make things worse? Doesn't that put you in a state of mind that you feel like you can't do shit and you can't function? What good are you like that? So acceptance is key. Acceptance gives you the carte blanche to move forward in joy and relax. Once you accept something, there is a liberating relaxation that comes through the mind and the body. Okay? There is a relaxation. I have thoroughly disciplined myself on the fear of death. That's why I talk about it so much. It's just like in Harry Potter. I always use Harry Potter as examples. And when they won't say Voldemort, and fear of the name increases fear thing itself. Fear of, you know what I mean? So fear of speaking of death increases the fear of death. No, I don't speak of that. Well, why not? What are you afraid of? I get it. I'm a human being. I get it. It's the end of all of your existence as you know it. Okay. And then your family's got to deal with that. But if you accept what is going on, if you accept it and realize that it is just as much a part of life as birth, okay, and that it is necessary for the planet to thrive, to reproduce and recreate and resurrect and turn over. Think about it. If everybody stayed alive, would there even be any room to stand? Would there be any food? Hold on, I'm trying to bring Jen in. Would there be any food? Would there be any water? Would we not use up all of our natural resources and then some, supporting that much life on this planet? Hell, would the planet even be able to stay in its proper orbit? Okay, when you think about those things, it's logical that we all must at some point pass on to make room for what is new. My name is Dawn. It's a renewing. So I believe in that fully. So I don't have the issues with that I used to have. And sometimes dealing with a situation where you are basically knocking. I made a TikTok video saying I was knocking at death's door. Thank God death wasn't home. And in that moment, yeah, I'm glad death wasn't home. I know one day though death will be, and it'll open that door and say, come on in, I've been waiting for you. So but when that happens, it'll happen in that moment, and I'm not going to waste time while I'm here thinking about something that is inevitable, that I can't do a goddamn thing about. He said he was told that after that car accident that he would never walk again. And what he did was he used the 5-minute rule. And that's not a hard 5 minutes, okay? If something happens to a loved one or something like that, yeah, it may take you longer than 5. It may take you 5 days. But the point of the matter is you don't allow yourself to be constantly inundated by it forever. You got to move on. You got to move on. And with him, he said he found out that he would probably most likely never walk it. No, they said he definitely wouldn't walk again. So what he did was he told his parents who were extremely concerned. He said, listen, I'm going to be the happiest wheelchair bound person you've ever seen in your life. Why? Because I got no choice. If this is my fate, I'm going to make it worse by being bitter about it. I'm going to make it worse. Have you seen those people who play basketball in the wheelchair? Those are people who have not let that stop them. They have a whole league of people. The Special Olympics, people that you see run marathons with prosthetics. You know what I mean? They are people who have, okay, this is my situation. All right, sucks. He does that. He says that too. It sucks, but okay, let's move forward. Let me feel the negativity about it and let me dwell in it for a couple minutes, couple hours, couple days, a week. But now let me brush my shoulders off and move forward. What do I want now? That's what he did. That's why he ended up walking. That's why he ended up making it through the cancer. He accepted it and said, okay, it is what it is, just like Eckhart Tolle teaches in The Power of Now. It is what it is. And then said, okay, now that we've accepted it and accepted the negativity of it, let's cleanse, like taking a shower internally. Let's cleanse and move on. What is my next step? That's the same thing I did with the cancer when the doctor came back and said, yeah, you were right. You had colon cancer. I said, okay. Felt like somebody smacked me in the face with a ton of bricks, but I said, okay. Literally within seconds, I thought, okay, wow. All right. There ain't a whole lot I can do about it. What did that guy say? He said, okay, can't change it. What do I do now? Am I dying? Do I have a limited amount of time? What's happening? And while I was saying that, I realized there was no fear, no anxiety about it, because it was almost like I had been through it. So I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So what's my next step? He's like, okay, well, the cool thing is we got it all out and I want you to take some chemotherapy for a few months and you should be okay after that. Okay. All right, cool. All right. Well, I was expecting to hear something worse than that. All right, cool. And that's what happened. And here I am, moved through it. I accepted it. It wouldn't have been, look, every day I went into chemo, I was making jokes. I had everybody cracking up. And that was one of the worst things you ever want to experience. It's like feeling acid running through your veins. And it makes you nauseous because you are putting poison in your body. And you are killing something, but you are killing yourself at the same time. And if you are powerful enough to withstand that, if your body is strong enough to withstand that, and you can make it through, then so be it. But yeah, that's a very powerful experience. I don't recommend it. But if you are faced with that, you have no choice but to accept it. And I'm telling you, acceptance is liberating. And once he said he accepted it, the next step was, you've heard me say this before, breathe. Okay? Breathe. All right, Restream, keep up. Because breathing allows that relaxation that I was talking about come over you. You would be surprised the huge benefits you would get from learning how to do breath work. It happens in meditation. There is a thing called Wim Hof breathing. There's all kinds of breath work that you can do, but deep, concentrated breathing on purpose, not just the involuntary breathing that we do without thinking, but breathing on purpose, taking a deep breath in and preferably in through the nose and then out through the mouth very slowly. You will feel a relaxation that will happen involuntarily, that your body does. You can't keep it from happening. Your body just automatically does it. And it helps with the acceptance. So take a deep breath and then, of course, do what you don't have a whole lot of other choice to do but to move forward. Okay? Move forward, because the future is already here. Remember, we did the future is now? What you're doing in this moment is creating your next hour. What you're doing in that next hour is creating tonight. What you do this whole day creates tomorrow. What you do tomorrow creates this week, this month, this next year. Okay? So move forward and accept the things that you can't do anything about, even if it sucks to accept it. Do it and free yourself of the negativity and the anxiety. Because guess what? It can't last forever. Even life doesn't last forever. I mean, you can look at it that way. Hey, at some point, all this shit's gonna end. As terrible as it is, death is gonna be a relief for me because I ain't gotta deal with it no more. So it's perspective. It is literally perspective. How you see it is what your reality will be. Hey, baby.
Hey, I was just thinking about two things that you said that really like stood out. Well, lots of them, but I did notice when you were talking about at that moment that acceptance that you felt like if you look at it, most of our fears are because of something unknown or something that might happen. We talk about it all the time with um making up the stories in our mind, like, and making things out sometimes to be a bigger deal than they are when we really look at them in the whole, you know what I mean, perspective of things, that something that didn't happen we're most fearful of. And like at that moment, feeling that peace is probably, like you said, it was liberating in a sense, because that fear was gone of what would this feel like if someone told me, I had cancer, or that I couldn't see, or I realized I couldn't see. Like, you have dealt with both of those things. And I didn't watch you go through, I've just heard about it because we weren't together when you went through the cancer, but I literally watched you go through the part that you realized you were losing your sight. And the way that you describe it, it's like I watched you do that. You thought you had a moment, very little moment. Like most people would have way more negative time about it than you did, because but and then another thing you did was you didn't look at what can I not do? Like, oh, you know what? You rarely are ever, oh, I wish I could drive, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. You basically just took it, grabbed onto it, and said, okay, I'm going to figure out a way to do everything I can, and even go above and beyond the fact that you make video streams by having to do it maybe a little differently than other people. You might have to get closer to the screen or pull it to the side, use the phone maybe sometimes instead of the computer, whatever it takes. Like, you get that blank done. I want to cuss on your stream. So
I
like,
do.
yeah, I know, but you're the host. I'm a guest. I'm a good girl.
Say
No, I'm
it,
just
girl.
kidding. But like, you know what I'm saying? That's the
I
the
do,
the
Jen.
thing
Thank you.
about what you talk about. Like, you don't just preach it and not do it. You actually have lived it and are living it, and that's why it makes it easy for you to empathize with others, but also easy for you to say, "Hey, you know what? Once you get through the negativity of it, breathe through it and make the decision to figure out what you can do. What do I want to happen? What do I want this to work out like? If any situation you're in, if you think about that overall outcome, it'll take those negative emotions out of it, and it'll take that, you know, sometimes um that feeling of just a constant, negativity. It's a time to get in the negative, and then you got to keep moving forward, like you said. And whatever your circumstance is, you're not stuck in that position. That might be where you are right this moment, but you're not there forever. And mom said,
I'm looking at
Kathy
her.
oh, you
Hey,
guys,
Kathy.
my girl Dawn is so positive with everything she's been through. Love you, Dawn, for everything that you said, Jen. Thank
I love
you.
you so much. You are part of my healing journey too, Kathy Wozniak, because you have given me, you have blessed me with a life partner that I could never have even dreamt I would have possibly had. And I really say that from the bottom of my heart. I always, I'll thank Kathy for having Jen all the time, and I thank Jen for being born, because what would those situations be? Well, I can answer that. They would suck, but I would get through them. But I don't. That answer right now to me is null and void, because I didn't have to. I had Jen and I have Jen. Jen is, and I don't put all of my stock in my marriage and my partner. Don't get me wrong, okay? Because if something happened where Jen wasn't here, I would have to move on. I would have no choice. But that would completely suck. And I'm so blessed that I don't have that happening. In this moment, in this reality, in this now, I have Jen. And she was born. And we are together. And it's so beautiful because those things, you are a huge part of why I was able to not pull my hair out about the blindness. You saw me go through moments. I'll never forget the time we were in Happy Chinese parking lot, and I realized it was getting worse, right? And I'm like, wow, I really can't. And I began to sob and started crying. And I realized there was nothing that I could do. It wasn't getting any better, and we had been months in, maybe even a year. And I'm like, holy shit, I thought this was going to go away, but it's not going away. 12 years later, it hasn't gone away. And, but I've had some of the best. We went to Minnesota, we went to Florida, you know, I got this cool drum set. We moved here. All that stuff happened after I lost my sight, dude. So if I had just crawled up and just became bitter and like ended it with you, because you know what I mean, because I was just feeling like shit, I'm no good for you, leave me, and just started treating you like shit and split us up because I didn't feel like I was the me that you met and felt I couldn't drive anymore. Anytime we had to take a trip, please don't cry. Are you crying? Because I feel like I'm about to cry. Don't make me cry, Jen. But I feel like, trips to Baltimore, I would look, and as much as I loved and still love driving, I wanted to take some of that off her plate. I felt so bad when she would always have to be the one to drive 2.5, 3 hours to Baltimore and turn around and drive back. And she has to do all of that. And I'm like, God, I wish I could take this off her plate. Some of the things that needed to be done, like if I can't see something,
I'm
she's got to be
controlling
my
the
eyes.
driving. I'd rather do it anyway.
she's got to be my eyes. You know what I mean? So in a lot of situations, but you know what? I couldn't be blessed with a more giving partner. I realize so much now why the universe blessed me with you, because nobody else could probably put up with my shit. You know what I mean? But you're so empathetic, and you make it easy to be in a good mood. You make it easy to choke my demons, because I can be nasty. I can be a nasty person. I can't do that with you. I literally can't do that with you because you're such a kind spirit and such a giving spirit that I'm like, I know why she's in my life. Look what I was going to go through. Look at all the shit that was going to happen to me. Look at this shit. I wouldn't have been able to live by myself with this, let alone live with somebody who could deal with having to do everything all the time. And she didn't have to do everything, trust and believe, because what I ended up doing and what she's describing, I did. I said, and she would hear me say this, I focus on what I can see.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
We were
I
just
don't
talking about
look.
that the other day. Like if we're walking along, I'll be like, "Oh, look, there's a curve," and you're like, "I see that. I can see the curve. Like I can see big stuff right in front of me."
Yeah, hey, don't knock peripheral vision. It is
Right?
huge.
And
Okay.
it's funny
I live
because
with
like
it.
it's definitely like at first it's probably scary, and then you realize you're like, oh, okay, I can like and then you do make me a little nervous when you chop the vegetables, but heck, you take care of
I haven't
business,
chopped my
right?
finger off yet.
And
And trust
and
me, I
then
go really slow.
Oh, that's so funny. But it's like, it's amazing when you are in like a positive environment, and that when you wake up and you're in a good mood each day, it will help you to be able to deal with life situations. And I get that. My mom's here. She's the same way. She is
Yeah.
one of the most positive people I know, and I've grew up with that, you know what I mean? With that same
I know, I've
feeling of,
been
hey, we're
around
all
her.
supposed to be happy. We're all supposed to be happy. Keep it light, you know? Things
And
aren't
it's
that
like,
we can be
look,
sad about things, but mostly what she wants and what she does for, for Lily and my sister Brooke and for all of us
yeah.
is ultimately she wants us to be happy.
Yeah. And that's where you get that from. She's also a very giving spirit. I've seen her take in people who didn't have anywhere to go. When my mom died, she said, "Hey, I'm your mom now." You know what I mean? Even though she's only 10 years older than me, she said, "I'm your mom now." So I'm like, you know what? And she has been that. Like, if I have a situation, I know I can go to her and talk to her about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, she's there. She tried to be there in my child's life, in the capacity of like a grandmother would be. Now Dominique, I noticed that Dominique took to her before she dipped off and decided to become MIA. She took to your mom,
Hmm.
and you could tell that because your mother has a way with people. And you have that empathy. So I'm so blessed to have you in my life, and you helped me accept my fate, you know? So it is what it is. The only thing I can do is move forward and focus on what I can see, whether it's blurry or not. If I can see a little bit of it, which is how I operate, if I can see a little bit of it, then I can get some shit done. If I can see the broad picture, then I can see that I'm walking into a car. Thank God. It could be like Stevie Wonder and be completely black. I'm not dealing with blackness. I'm dealing with something that has impaired my vision. I can see, but I can't see like a normal person would see. Like this screen, I see it and I see everything on it, but it's got a lot of snow. Like I'm looking at a TV program with a lot of snow on it. That's exactly what my vision's like. So while I can see the TV show, I can't see it like a normal person would. So it prevents me from being able to do anything that will require detail, like driving. I can see the road, I can see other cars, I can see where I'm at, but I can't see a person at the last minute trying to run across the street. So I don't want to be out there killing somebody. I can park a car. I can get
Don't
it.
tell her that I don't look like a supermodel. I
Girl.
was just joking.
you know and that's the cool thing is you do, in
Yeah,
my
right.
eyes you do. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, you always have been, you always will be.
Yeah, I
And
gotta keep her out of
beauty,
the car to park it sometimes. You didn't back that up far enough. I'm gonna get in there and back it up. I'm like, oh no, I
every
didn't want to
chance I
get
get,
her because
every
my
chance I
parking
get.
OCD issues.
Dude, we had a situation where when we owned our delivery service, we had a couple of trucks that we had purchased used for other drivers to rent from us. Yeah, we were doing that too. So I was like, yeah, we're getting that dough. But gotta think like Gertrude, right? But I said, Jen, you know what? We had to get one of the trucks back home. And I said, Jen, I can do it. I can drive. We couldn't find anybody. And both of us are extremely self reliant, almost to a detriment. We don't ask for help when we really, really need it. And I said, Jen, we can't find anybody else. I'm going to drive this truck. Just drive in front of me, drive slow, and I'll stay on your ass. Okay. And let's do it at a moderate speed, but let's just try
No,
to.
well, literally, you were pushing it, weren't you?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think your truck was down and I had to push
You
you.
were
I had
pushing
to
the
push you
truck.
with that truck.
It wasn't
So the
that
cool
far, but it was
thing is you
crazy.
were
I was
steering
scared to
the truck.
death.
But she said,
Like,
Dawn,
this
no,
is
we
not
have to
right
find
because
somebody.
then you
You
could
got
get
a
in.
blind person leading you got a blind person pushing somebody driving the truck. But we made it
We used to
home.
always say the adventures of Jen and Dawn. You never know
We
what we're
always
gonna
say
run
it.
into when the day starts. Like, it's
Whenever
just
something
another.
happens crazy, we look at each other. The adventures of Jen and Dawn. But
Here we go again.
yeah,
Crazy.
it's
It's
like
about
one thing after another, but we make it through each thing. That's what all of these hardships are teaching us is they're not permanent. We've accepted those circumstances and those situations, and we kept our hearts right and our minds right. And because we did that, we were look, if you can do that, you're going to move through it anyway, but you move through it quicker and you move through it without all the bullshit. You know,
Yeah, without being angry and
one of
upset
the
all the
lines in Pump Up the Volume that he says, you know, I'm a screw up and I don't mind being dejected and rejected, but I'm not going to be ashamed about it. You know, if people don't like me, I'll be damned if I'm not going to like myself on top of it. That's just going to make it even worse. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to like
Right.
me, so it might as well be me. If no one else likes me, at least I like me. So,
Yes,
you know,
I did
if
send
no,
that reminder.
huh?
Jessie said I didn't send her my usual reminder. Yes, I did. It had to be your phone. I sent all my reminders out about the show. She said, sorry, I'm late. I didn't get my usual reminder. Thank you, everybody,
Aw.
for coming.
Hey Jess, thanks
I
everybody
love
who's
all
in
you
there. I
guys.
said some personal highs to a couple people, but I haven't checked back in to see who's there. Jesse, you made it, huh, bitch? I love those. I love everybody in this chat, man. All of you guys hang. You hang with a sister, and I appreciate that. And you are the core that we're building off of when this thing gets really huge. I'm telling you, this guy is preaching and teaching the same stuff that we are talking about, and people hear it. They want to hear, accept it, and move through it. Because if you do that, you are going to be a powerhouse. Just like when you lift weights and you pull up that resistance, think about how your mind is going to be the more you go through struggles and make it through to the other side. You know, look at all the stuff that a lot of the people, Ariella, the stuff that she's dealt with in her family, Jesse, the stuff that she's dealt with, everybody has stuff that they've dealt with, you know, and
Yeah.
they've moved through it and they're here to talk about it and they're here to share. So it is possible to accept, breathe, and move forward. Don't make things worse by allowing negativity to inundate you and bog you down, you know?
Mhm. Exactly. I mean, it can happen with anything as big as something like you said, as health issues, or as small and minuscule as,
I can't get a cup of coffee today. Or
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
late for work.
that's pretty big, though, if you can't get a cup of coffee in my mind. That's the worst thing that could happen. That's worse than major life issues. What are you talking about? It's a terrible example of something small. Just kidding.
Right.
Um,
I did put the
it,
link down in case anybody has anything that they would like to add before we end the stream, because I don't
yeah,
want
come
to,
on in,
you know,
take my
bug.
place. Jesse said always yacht.
But yeah, man, and again, I'm gonna give you guys the channel. There is the link to that video that has re-inspired me, because you could tell I'm full of the mania today because
I
I've
knew you
been
were gonna come in.
re-inspired.
You were on such a good run there. I was like, you know what? I got to hear this. I had to listen.
Dude, I'm like,
I even dipped
man,
back out.
it was like the universe sent it to me. I woke up in a funk because, you know, of financial things that we're going through. And I'm like, something's got to change. Something's got to get better. And I started going through things in my mind, and I go in the bathroom and do my normal ritual. We won't go into all of that, but I did my
Like, you mean
ritual,
two bathrooms? You need to have
and
like your office.
I do a cleanse every morning. What can I say? You know, it's something that I do. As a colon cancer survivor, I've learned that enemas are huge. Okay, don't it might be TMI for some people, but it is
Hey,
what it is.
you've
I do
been
them,
you
and I do
still
them
hang
every
out
day.
there.
That's right. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not scared. You know, there's no fear there. I'm gonna say it, and it is what it is. It's your job how you handle it. Okay. I can't worry about how you handle it. I'm just gonna put it out there. I do it every day, and it's one of the healthiest things you can do for your body. Okay.
I thought you
But
didn't have any. Oh, enemas.
I'm telling you, it's really, it's huge. Acceptance is so powerful. And I thought, if this guy is talking about it and literally saying the same shit I said, he said, you don't have a choice. Why are you going to inundate yourself with something that you can't do a damn thing about. So accept it, deal with the emotion of it, and then breathe it out and then move forward. I'm like, God, I said that. That's exactly, so I must be on the right track. So I don't give a shit how many times, how many streams I have to have, saying the same shit over and over again. That's what I'm going to do, because that's what works. That's what works, you know?
Sometimes you can find a simple formula to get through so much stuff in life, whether, it be anything that you're dealing with. Sometimes you need that like simple formula to get you through. And if that, is what works to get you through any type of issue, whether it's mentally and adversity, something unexpected happening, like even getting out of your own thoughts, like help me with. Sometimes it's like that is whatever that. Most things in life have a simple formula, like E equals MC squared. I have no idea what that means really, truly, but that's a formula that someone worked out. What is that?
The
Electricity?
theory of relativity. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Even that has a simple formula. Like you would think it's way more complicated. Like sometimes, I always talk about in, like you said, in sales or customer service, there's just a couple of basic rules to follow, and you can deal with pretty much any kind of sale or any kind of call. It's the same life, and if you can just equate it to that, how you can simplify other things in life, simplify your whole life situation with the formula that works, like breathing through it, not reacting in a way, taking that 5 minutes to be negative, taking the 5 minute. Mine is always that rule that I have: when you have something that gets on you, like irritates you, or something that you see that hurts your feelings, or something negative happens, do not react right away. That is the worst thing that you can do, I feel like, because you're not in your true feelings. You're in a reactive feeling of what
You know
that made
something?
you do. You know what I mean? It's not like you're not getting to the core of why you were even upset about what happened.
I have
So
a
you can't
training
relate it.
exercise for you.
Okay.
I have a training exercise for you. And I'm saying this openly in front of everybody because we've already discussed you backing it out of the driveway and things like that. It's something that I've found that I've been doing lately. And in this moment, I'm realizing it because I'm fully present in the moment and I'm looking into myself and I'm thinking, wow, you've been testing yourself. When I listened to the stream, or it wasn't a stream, it was a video, which is linked in here. You go listen to that whole video. That guy's he's talking some good shit. But I listened to the form of cancer that he had. What do you think I did?
Immediately self-reflected, or
I looked it up. I looked it up to see if I have symptoms.
I hate that.
And it's
Everybody
like
does it.
we all do it. It's like, wait a minute, he had, I forget the name of it now. That's how minuscule. That's how doing shit on purpose like this now is for me. Like I used to steer
You might have
clear.
dwelled on it for 7 to 10 days, or not even looked it up at all. You know what I
Right,
mean?
because I didn't want to know if I had
That's
symptoms. And
where I am, like the
let
self-identification.
me,
You can't ignore
yeah,
everything.
let me look it up. Let me look it up and see
Face
what's
it.
going on. And let me see if I do have symptoms. Well, it turns out I probably do have a good 5 or 6 of them. And I'm like, wow, but not on a regular basis. The swelling of the lymph nodes, I've talked about that. So he had
There.
acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And I thought, wow, what is that? And I'm like, something told me, are you sure you want to look that up? Because it said lymph. Haven't you experienced swelling of lymph nodes? Well, guess what? Who doesn't from time to time when
Your
they're
body
dealing with an
immune system
issue?
fighting things off.
Right. When your body, that means when your lymph nodes swell, that means that's actually a good thing. That means your body's immune system is working and it is fighting something for you. If it doesn't happen, you got an issue. So yeah. But for the most part, I'm not really experiencing anything that would lead me to think. But then again, so he wasn't either. He was completely healthy, and all of a sudden his shit started shutting down, heart, organs, and I'm
You
like, wow,
Symptoms are funny because symptoms are like a puzzle too. Because like we were talking about the other day, if you lose a
yeah,
bunch of weight and you're not on a diet, or you change your dietary, then you could have
Mm-hmm.
symptoms of something, but it not be the symptom of what you're looking up. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
you can
right.
always take a symptom and transform it.
So yeah, exactly. And I'm like, you know what? Look it up. Are you afraid? Are you afraid that you're going to have the symptoms of it? Is it going to be afraid that it's a reoccurrence of cancer and this time it's going to be in the form of that? Are you going to manifest it? I'm like, okay, let's play with this. Remember the TikTok effect where I did the whole death thing? You know what I mean? And so I'm like, it's just like that. Which, by the way, I did again, and it said cancer twice back to back. And then it went off to something else. And then it went back to the cancer. So, but I
It's just
laughed.
like
This
odds
is
with cards. Anything can
I'm
pop
like
up.
playing with this
Sometimes you
thing.
get pocket aces 2 times in a row,
Right,
but it
right.
doesn't mean you're going to get it every time.
But the liberating thing is I'm not fucking
You're playing
scared
with
to
it.
do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Walk into that room. See
Yeah.
what it is. See what it is. And the cool thing about it is that it doesn't change anything. If it is what it is, then it is what it is. Goddamn, I'm not gonna sit here and feel bad on top of it and let my
The
mind
worst
run
thing,
away with me and have all these weird thoughts and create the soap opera
it's
that
the fear.
that the mind does. It makes the situation absolutely worse. So here's the training exercise. When you feel the urge to back in and out of the driveway, you know how you said it's going to save the world if I do that, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself and accept what it is that you're trying to save. Instead of using the backing in and out, accept it in the moment and try to just accept that bad thing that you're trying to avoid by doing whatever action it is that you're doing. And visualize the worst case scenario and accept it. Take a deep breath and then drive. And you're not going to get it the first time or the second or third. But if you practice it, Jen, if you practice it and make yourself really in the moment, do it and don't dismiss it and do it, you will begin that healing process, dude, just like I'm doing. Instead of me running from looking up what the leukemia was, I looked at it and I read it and I said, okay, I'm reading it, but I'm not feeling any fear. Did I so thoroughly discipline myself against feeling fear of this stuff? And I've learned to it. I realize I learned to accept shit, which makes reading something easier, which makes going through something easier. It's hard to do it at first, but if you keep practicing it and challenge yourself to do it, you know what? Normally I wouldn't go there, but I'm going to make myself go there because I need to heal. I need to not be fucking afraid of that. So I'm going to actually make myself do this. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to make myself do it because the more I make myself do what I don't want to do, I'm going to get better at doing it. And eventually there will be no fear of doing it. Oh, this again.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do it and it's not going to be a thing.
Our brains are our brains are muscles. So whatever we train our brain to do, our brain is going to say, okay, this is how I deal with this now. I don't do this. Like if you continue to do that and answer it and feed into it. Like the funny thing you said is
you're giving it the power instead of you having the power. You got to have power over your emotions and not let them power you.
You're coming out with this stuff out of your head, like from what you know
I've lived it.
To. However, I did like just listen to a video, maybe like not last night, but the evening before, and it was funny because there was 2 things that you said, and it was a guy I listened to. I've mentioned him a couple times. I think his name is Nate OCD, and he has like a lot of TikToks and a lot of YouTube. So like in listening to him, he has like little things that can help people. Like you said, if you have some kind of compulsion that you're doing, whether it's flipping the lights or thinking that you have to come in and out of the driveway, or whether you open and wash your hands certain amount of times, whatever, and basically all kinds of different anxiety and OCD he talks about. But he's really good because he does it in a way that like you do, that kind of relates to how you can little tips you can use. Instead of just saying, yeah, you need to get over this. It's like how, like we were talking about.
Yeah, give me a roadmap. Don't just say get over it. Give me a roadmap.
You should eat plant-based, but I have no recipes, that kind of thing. You need a recipe to get through things sometimes. So like he's like, okay, try. One thing that he mentions is don't give your thoughts any power. When you do that, you are entertaining them, and like you said, you know what? I'm not going to be scared of that. Like a negative thought comes in, hey, not today, not today. He says to say to it
Because
or
thoughts are
whatever you want to
things.
say. You know what? That's
Thoughts are
not gonna.
things.
I realize in this moment that's just a thought trying to get me, trying to get me negative zone. Let happen. The other thing he said was,
Absolutely.
to your point, too. This was something that you can do. Delay, like if you say, okay, I'm gonna immediately on the thing, or I want to go this, I want to go here. He says delay it for just five, like 5 minutes, even as long as you can delay it, and you might even forget what exactly it was that you were.
You there? Okay, yeah, you're what happened there?
Getting yourself all in uproar about, and or it.
Can you guys hear us? I think that might be Jen's thing. Yes, reactive feelings, Jess. You're absolutely right. Reactive feelings can cause the biggest issues. We regret that most of the time. But damage can be done before we realize it. That's a problem. That's the problem. Okay, cool. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, babe, you had a bad connection. It was going in and out, and now we can't hear you at all. But I'll tell you what we're going to do, we're not going to be here forever. I'm going to go and get ready to end this stream. Thank you so much for saying, because that is absolutely true. Bad feelings on top of it, which are stemmed from bad thoughts, which stem from you watching the movie that your mind is playing for you and buying into it and believing that that's what's going to happen. How about think of it as just that? It's a movie that your mind is playing in your head, and realize that, hey, wait a minute, I'm visualizing right now. At this exact moment, I'm sitting in this chair. I'm not in a hospital bed with tubes up my nose. I'm not laying in a ditch somewhere. I'm right here, right now. So
In the moment.
stop
I
letting,
lost that
yeah.
connection thing. That happened again with that strip after a while. I saw my microphone just stop. The little things that go on the side of your face when you're talking,
Yeah.
and it just froze up. And it was a car out in the alley. Not lying. Every time there's a car vibrating connections, my computer goes out. I am not crazy. I mean, I am crazy.
No,
That's why I wanted to
there's
say
some
therapy,
truth to it.
but
Comcast,
they
Xfinity did
confirmed
find that
me.
our connections outside are loose, and they, every time a car or truck goes by, they loosen whatever we have set up out there. So yeah, there's some truth to it, but literally she'll hear a horn blow, and it'll be like, up, see, that horn blew. But
Did you lose me again?
yeah, you're going in and out pretty bad. But it's okay, because I'm going to go ahead and let everybody get back to their day. Guys, thank you so much for coming in the stream. I appreciate you so much. Shout out again to everybody that is in this stream. My beautiful wife, my beautiful mother-in-law, all the beautiful new friends that I've made. Jen, Jamie, Jesse, thank you guys so much for being here. Anyone who's listening, shout out to Karen Everett. And again, thank you for the shout out last night. The link to Karen and Thomas BSR is in the description. Go check her channel out. She's always teaching preparedness, and staying prepared for anything that can happen, and not only just talking about it, literally showing you what she does to prepare for disasters and things like that, and also giving positive affirmations. She's another person that believes in affirmations. Affirmations are huge, and all they are is reprogramming your mind to not have so many fricked up thoughts. But let's replace some of those fricked up thoughts that I'm going to have anyway, because that's how the mind works. Let's replace a lot of that with something. You know what I mean? You empty something out, you put something else back in its place. That's positive, that will help you. Think about it. If you inundate your mind with negative thoughts, what's going to come out? Negative thoughts, negative actions, negative feelings. If you inundate your mind with more realistic thoughts, not saying all positive, hey, everything's roses and sunshine. No. Say, listen, if I accept this, I can get through this. That's a huge thing. I don't believe in the Band-Aid bullshit. Okay, life is great. I am a millionaire. No, I have no money in my account. I'm not a fucking millionaire. No, life's not great right now. No, I'm going through something, but if I accept it and move forward and don't feel a lot of anxiety about it, because I know all things pass, something will come in here to me that's going to help me. It'll be an idea. It'll be something happening, or I'm going to do something because now I feel motivated. I'm going to go out and drive extra or today and make the money that I need. Or I'm going to go out and work out and fix this arm issue that I've got. Or I'm going to go out and I'm going to, help some
idea that's going to pay off.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So when you free yourself of the anxiety, you open yourself up to be this type of person who can follow through and do something positive to help the situation. Because you're in what? A positive vibe. You've changed the frequency. You've changed your radio station. So once you've done that, now you can move forward with that mindset. But if you let yourself get bogged down by
so many times, like you said, if you are in a negative mindset, everything starts to happen negative. When you start seeing things as negative,
it's inertia.
Things that weren't negative. You know what I mean? Like if you're in a mode, you'll start feeling like everything is happening that's in that mode. Once you,
it's like a snowball gaining momentum. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger the more it rolls.
Identify it and then change your, like you said, try to adjust that frequency. You got to get it out. Like what the guy said about the 5-minute rule. You got to identify that you had a moment with it. Identify that now, am I starting to make up stuff in my head? Like, am I starting to come up with circumstances that haven't even happened, starting to project and say, oh, now this is probably going to happen. This is probably going to happen. Probably is the worst thing that could ever
what's worse,
because it probably is never going to happen. And
what's worse too is you can picture that stuff, but then some people keep picturing it and keep living it like it's actually happening and don't stop.
And then
they constantly inundate them
in the positive zone.
Realize it's a visualization and get the fuck out.
The narrative completely changes once you're in the positive. Once you've did that, said, okay, maybe this is how I want things to go. This is what I really want. And the things start rearranging if you try it the next time you're in that situation, and take a moment, think about, okay, what can I do that can make a positive outcome in this situation, as opposed to what did this situation make me feel like initially, because that has nothing to do with what you can create. So I love the message today. We kind of went 360, but sorry about my sound earlier. I was just agreeing with what you said. He was just basically saying to delay it, like you said. Identify that the thought is just a thought, and then take a moment to delay what you want to do, what you want to happen. It sounds like that formula.
Take a moment. He's saying take a moment to accept it and feel it, like what we've said on this stream. When something happens, accept the fact that if it is a negative thing, accept the fact that it does suck and it is happening in this moment, and accept it and know that it is temporary. Okay, it's temporary. Even if it's a terminal disease diagnosis, it's temporary, because guess what? Eventually you're going to unfortunately be gone.
Right.
So
here's another thing.
You will move forward
either way. Identify that you're having a negative thought, though, but if it's not something happening, then you can identify to yourself that, hey, that's one of those negative thoughts that's trying to come in that hasn't happened yet. So that's another way that you can even feel it, but you don't really have to feel it because it's not real. So there's no sense of putting yourself through all the crap of it
It's nothing
too,
wrong with
you know,
visualizing
and
the worst case scenario. It's nothing wrong with visualizing the worst case
nothing
scenario.
wrong if
We
that's
all do
you came
that.
through it.
We
Yep.
all do that. We all do that. So it's like, you know, if you visualize the worst case scenario and put yourself in that place, that's the key. Visualize the absolute worst case scenario, put yourself in it, and deal with it. Deal with it in that moment. And then let it go. Realize, hey, that's actually not happening. That's just a possibility.
Right.
In this moment right now,
I'm
I'm
happy. I'm
here.
good. And
And
I
then
can
you
do
have to
it.
replace that with what you want to happen, what you would
Mhm.
prefer to happen, and then work towards that. Now that you've accepted it, he said, okay, I've accepted the fact that I'm going to be in a wheelchair. Sucks, but I've accepted it. Okay. So now let's focus. Now that we've accepted that, let's focus on how I can teach myself how to walk again. I've already accepted the fact that I'm going to be in a wheelchair. Now let's see what we can do to change that. You see what I mean? That's how it works. Okay, I've
Yep.
already accepted this. Let's now, I've got no choice. This is already going to happen. We already know that. It's a given. It's almost like it's in the past. That's all I've been. Okay, now, suppose I want this to happen though. Suppose I want to be cured from this. Suppose I actually want to see again. Suppose I actually want to be able to drive a vehicle again and work on the computer without having to be like this. You know, suppose I want to start a new business and have it be successful and not have the fate that my other business had. Suppose I want to do whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, I accepted this. It is what it is. This is my truth. But let's now look towards other things because I don't have any choice in that. So let's work towards what I really want to happen and find out all the things that I need to do to make that happen and just start doing them and see what happens. What's the worst case scenario? You've already accepted whatever the worst case scenario is. So, you know what I mean? You already know the worst case scenario. So now, which way is there to go? The only way possible. Fucking up. That's
Mhm.
it, because you've already hit rock bottom. So the only thing now to do is work your way back out of it. And you can only do that if you accept it and then let it go. Even
Mhm.
I heard something that made a whole lot of sense. Rockets. When rockets go up, right? They have boosters on them. And when the rocket's gone up as far as it can go, the boosters have gotten the rockets as far as it can go. What does the rocket do? It lets go of the boosters and then moves on to outer space. That's what you do when you accept those negative feelings and negative vibrations, and they're attached to you, just like those boosters. And they're taking you up and up and up, or deeper, deeper, deeper into that negativity until finally you just accept it. You reach that point where you no longer need those boosters because you're already as negative as you can be and thought about the absolute worst case scenario, and then you let them go. And then you can soar because the only way to go from there is up. And that's what the rocket does. It then goes into outer space once it's dropped all the negative bullshit. It's dropped the heavy ass boosters. Boom, it flies after that. It soars like an eagle. Okay? So that's what you have to do. If negativity attaches itself to you by the way of thought and feeling, don't run from it.
Mhm.
Feel it. Address it. Okay, I have an issue with this, but it's perfectly fine. I'm acknowledging that I have an issue with it. And the worst case scenario, if this happens, is this. And that's going to suck if that happens. But I realize that if it does happen, I don't have a choice but to deal with it. So I might as well deal. Okay, boom, that sucks. Time to move on. How can we now move forward? And what do I really want to happen? Well, the opposite of that is this. So if I work towards that, maybe we can make that happen instead after you've already accepted the bad. You feel me?
Mhm.
So I've accepted it and I've put it to the side because there's not a damn thing I can do about that. Okay? But is there? It's a duality. I know. I've talked about it before. It's a duality. And the guy even addresses that in the video. It is a duality. It's a contradiction. Okay? How can I accept it but then move forward? You're saying, wait a minute, what the fuck are you talking about? You're saying accept it, but then you're saying don't accept it? I don't get it. Cuz how can I move forward if I'm accepting that? If I'm accepting that, that means I'm living with that truth and that's the end of it. No. What you don't understand is that's not the end of it. Cuz remember, it didn't actually happen yet. Or if it did happen, you're already there and you're about to move forward. So it's like, where do you go from here? If it is actually happening and not something that's something's going to happen that's inevitable, where do we go from here? Let's take death again as an example. We've realized that death is inevitable, right? Now, where do we go? Because you know it's going to happen at some point. So what do you do with life now that you know that? Do you sit there and just, your bills ain't going to get paid like that, are they?
Right.
Your child's not going to get fed like that, are they? You have to live, don't you? So why the fuck would you live thinking about the bullshit? You've already accepted it. It is what it is. You can't do nothing about it. So move forward. And when you let that anxiety that's wrapped around that go, you'd be surprised. You can actually change it, but only when you get in that place. You can't do it if you're negative. Can't do it if you're negative. You can't make positive changes if you're negative. It don't work that way. You have to get in a positive zone. And the only way to get in a positive zone is to accept the worst case scenario and then move forward. Man, that was good.
Absolutely.
That felt good to say.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
and to feel.
The greatest thing I love about coming on here is, is listening to you, and then also like you're actually getting things out. And when I get things out, sometimes I'll say things that make so much sense, and it actually can help you to kind of talk things out along the way. Like while you're helping us, you're helping yourself cleanse too, which is really cool.
I cleanse in front of you guys.
I can see you cleanse sometimes. It's like, wait, that felt good. Like,
yeah, man. I'm like,
does.
wow, that was,
Like,
yeah,
as
that
I'm
was
saying these things and hearing them and just continue, it's like that consistency thing. You got to keep putting the good stuff in there. Jess said Full Metal Jacket, the duality of man. War on one side, peace on the other.
Yep.
And then underneath that, she said, rewrite your own plot and narrative. That's what like we do anyway. We have
no
choice going on in our mind, no matter what. Whether you can be the most positive person at some point in time, if we keep doing this and we keep fixing ourselves in a sense by getting out what it is that we're afraid of and learning how not to be afraid, or learning how to face what we're afraid of, learning how to accept, live in the moment, you have to absorb it, give ourselves time to get through it. Like, yeah, this is negative, and then how do I want to move forward? I'm the one that's in charge of that.
Accept
Sometimes
it,
we
breathe,
can feel
and
like
move
a
forward.
victim to our own mind, and it's like we have to realize that we are
You
in
think?
charge when it comes to it. And now I'm learning from these streams that, like, hey, we do have power. Like we understand that in other forms of our life, how you can analogize it to, like, I have the power over whether I'm gonna turn this phone on or I'm gonna not turn the phone on. But when it comes to our minds, sometimes we don't feel like we have that power. But it's like I'm learning from these streams that we actually really do. And it's like empowering to take that away. Like, oh, that thought and everything that might have been going on, or that narrative I was writing that this could happen, that could happen, it's gone, because I can control it and I can say, no, I'm not letting that in right now. I'm not going to let that ruin my day right now when everything is fine by thinking about and dwelling on something negative. That's not going to happen. And when you take that power, it's like, you have to constantly work at it, because we live in an environment where we're going to see negative things. I remember telling you one time when I kept getting, negativity, like, on Facebook, I'm like, oh, I'm going to log off. But it would happen anyway. We might run into someone at the store and they might tell us something negative. So it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yesterday, I found out two things. Kirstie Alley died and Irene Cara died. And they didn't die on the same day, but I found both of those out within minutes of each other last night. And there was a time when I would have, and I went and I looked at some stories about both ladies, and there was a time when I would have focused on my own mortality. I didn't do that this time. I looked at them. I looked at their lifetime achievements because I remember when fame was a thing. Okay, I was a young child. I was like 7, 8 years. Fame came out, or like 9 or something like that. And I remember it being huge. I remember the movie. I remember seeing it for the first time. I remember when Irene Cara was the shit. I remember when Kirstie Alley was on Cheers. So these are people that I grew up watching. And yeah, it sucked. But what didn't happen was I didn't then go to something that I used to always do, which was, okay, what other celebrity died? Let's dwell in death. Let's go look at more death. Death, 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 death. I didn't do that. I looked at their stuff and I moved on. And I didn't get about me dying, which is something that I normally would do.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm realizing, wow, I'm healing. I'm getting through this. I'm learning how to control my emotions and my thoughts. A cancer. Okay, because that's huge. It's so funny that I would be named, that my sign would be a cancer, when that's something that had hit me. And it's why did that, you skirt back. Why did we have to be named cancers? Why couldn't they have just named us Crabia or something? It's a crab. Cancer. What the fuck? Why did our zodiac sign have to be named Cancer? But I'll tell you, we are very emotional creatures. We can be extremely moody. Okay. And us learning how, us as a community within that zodiac in particular, learning how to control our emotions is huge, because we are very emotional creatures, and our emotions tend to run away with us and take us in all kinds of different places. That's why I suffered with the PTSD as long as I did. And I'm saying did because I'm claiming that I'm feeling myself move through that storm. You know what I mean? And something else could happen to cause it. Well, then I'll just get through that. That's the way I think about it now. I'm back to being who I was in high school. If it comes, it just comes. Let's just deal with it and move on. Before I got inundated. Okay, now this is me at rock bottom. I'm at the worst I could possibly be. I have had the cancer. I am blind. I am, I don't have the financial situation I want. I am at the worst case, but I'm also at the best case because I have who I want again. I'm where I want to be, and I'm who I want to be. So I feel fabulous, even though these other things are literally happening in the
really
same moment.
That's the other stuff, your circumstances.
Yes, you got it. You got it.
Feeling good inside and knowing you have control of your thoughts and your mind and your outlook and everything like that is what is truly important. When it really
everything else is not you. It's what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you're going through. And if you get you right, what you're going through is nothing to get through. Right. And then you move through it like to do anyway.
Right.
So guess what? If you don't have
through it.
Jessie Lawless, what did she say? Letting yourself get pissed off by something you read on social media is like stepping in dog shit on purpose instead of walking around. Hey, if I'm gonna walk forward, why am I gonna walk through it with shitty shoes? Why am I gonna walk through the dog shit? Why am I gonna choose to be negative? Why am I gonna choose to live in anxiety and stress? Okay, because of a situation that I'm in. That situation is not you.
Or a situation that hasn't even happened yet, which is what I tend to do with the fear of the unknown. Like, oh, I hope everybody's going to be okay. I hope
we all do it.
That doesn't happen. I hope, I hope my family's safe. I hope no one's sick. I hope this. I hope that. And that process, I'm not living right now and saying, hey, why don't I just, give them a quick text or a call, or hey,
why don't I enjoy them while they're here?
Why am I taking this moment to think negative? Why worry about things that haven't even happened?
Instead of driving in and out of the driveway, it's like, I just want to make sure my mom's safe because I had a bad feeling, so I'm gonna drive in and out of. Instead of doing that, hey mom, how you doing? You feeling good? Okay, cool. Nice to talk to you. You hear her voice. Go back to doing what the fuck you used to do. Instead of driving in and out of the driveway, call her. Hey, what's
Yeah.
going on? I love you. I just wanted to say that because guess what? In the moment, accepting the fact that, yeah, one day she is going to be gone. What should that make you do? Not dwell on that. It should make you dwell on the fact that she's still here, and you should say, I love you while you can.
Exactly.
You know
And
what I
like
mean?
exactly. And in your circumstance in that moment, like that's what I think is the what happens. I was saying, as you get older, you've dealt with more things, you've seen more things, and the fear almost overtakes you, where
It's a
that's when you really
bitch.
have to work hard at it. You really have to say, okay, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to enjoy this moment. I'm going to enjoy what's going on right now because none of that is happening. And I'm going to be in this moment and stop
Don't forget the
worrying
acceptance
about
part,
the future.
though. Don't forget the acceptance part because that's huge
Well,
because otherwise it's going to keep beating
acceptance,
you down.
yeah, and acceptance is also knowing, every moment that you have a negative
You're
thought, if you're
struggling with the
somebody.
duality right now. I get it. You're struggling with the
No,
duality.
I'm saying because I've heard two different things on this. I'm going to tell you why. Because yes, you
Okay.
have to accept the negative thought, but you're also giving them power if it's something really off the wall that has not happened. You can't be negative all those times. I mean, if you're somebody like some of the people that are in my groups and stuff that are dealing with a negative thought every minute, you're going to be spending your whole time gut feeling it. At some point, you have to say, this is just one of those negative thoughts. Yes, you can feel it. However, it is not real, you know,
That's what
so
we
you
started
don't
at the
want
video saying. That the
to.
5 second rule. He said he calls it a 5 second rule. You call it what you want.
Yeah,
Okay?
you gotta
It's
breathe
a
through it,
feel
basically.
it.
Whatever you do,
Feel it. Right.
feel it,
Feel
get
it
over it.
and then get the hell away from it.
Don't run
Cuz
from it, like you
inundating
said. That's
yourself.
basically
Yeah.
what you're saying. Don't run from the thought. Get the thought. Okay, I see it. I see you coming. It's like a ball. I see it coming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna catch it,
I see you coming and
and then I'm
I
gonna throw
accept
that
it.
away.
And then it's gone.
You
Right.
know?
I see it. I'm picturing the worst case scenario that could happen. Oh, that sucks. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. I mean, I'm not liking that and I'm not liking this feeling. So, what do I do now? Okay? Because I've got to move forward regardless. Because you could be in a situation where it is not a projection, Jen. You could be in a situation where it is something that's actually happening.
That's
Okay?
when
So
you
you
can feel
got
it.
to, yeah, that's what, well, you can feel it either way, babe. You can feel it either way because if you're projecting and thinking about something, then you have to allow yourself to go there and feel what it is you're scared of feeling of happening. Because guess what? The fear of the thing you will find is worse than the damn thing itself. Do you know how many
Yeah.
years I feared hearing a cancer diagnosis? And when it actually happened, it wasn't as bad as what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
It was just
That
like, it
makes
was
a lot
like,
of sense.
okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
There's not a damn thing I can do about it. What do I do now?
Mhm.
Because what did I do? It didn't kill me. I almost wished it had.
Stop. What about me? That's not
No,
cool.
no, 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 no. You know what I'm
Do I
saying?
still
You know
sound
what
like
I'm saying?
C3PO?
The PTSD, because of the PTSD, I would never wish that on anybody. I would have rather died from the cancer than to deal with
Well,
mental
and most
bullshit.
people say mental pain is a lot of times worse than even physical pain for a
There
lot of
are
people.
things
It's
worse than
because
death, guys,
mhm,
because death is over. Okay? When you think about it, the things that we have to deal with in our daily lives, death is easy because you're gone. You don't have to deal with it. So,
you don't have
how
everybody
do
kill
you,
themselves on the stream though.
nah, man,
Just playing.
how do you deal?
Yeah,
How do
you
you
gotta deal
deal?
with
When
it in
you
a
get
positive
strong at
way.
that,
Yeah,
yeah. When you get strong at that and realize that is the absolute worst case scenario, whatever it may be, guess
we
what?
gotta get our mental muscles as good as we worry about our physical muscles for sure.
Whatever the worst thing that can happen to you, look at the Casey Anthony thing that we were talking about yesterday. The absolute worst case scenario with her was when her dad molested her and all of that type of stuff, but she's still here. She still moved forward. She still gets through every day. I don't know what her mental state is, but she is still living. She still gets through. Her child is gone. she's still managing to get through. You get through shit whether you want to or not, unless you are a suicide case. Okay? And you take yourself out. Those are the people that made a choice. I can't deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. So I'm out. If you did not do that and you have no intention on doing that, and if you think about it and find yourself unable to do that, what choice do you have moving forward? So if you're going to do it anyway, you better learn how to do it in a positive way. And the only way to do it is to accept the worst case scenario that you are either going through in that moment or that you're picturing happening, and say, okay, it's not happening, but damn, if it did happen, that would fucking suck. But thank God it's not. Or it actually is happening. Holy shit. And just brace yourself and move forward.
Yep.
The time that I went to jail, I'm like, holy shit, I found out in the courtroom that was going to happen. I didn't have time to prepare for it. Okay? It's, yeah, chances are the judge is going to give you 30 days. I'm like, what? Did I
right,
drop
Beth.
dead in that moment? No. You talk about somebody that could have literally pissed their pants. I'm getting ready to go to fucking jail? What? And it was like, instead of me reacting like that, I took it calmly. And it's so weird because I think back on it and I thought, holy shit. Okay.
Just embraced it. Embraced yourself. Like, okay, worst case scenario just happened.
Remember Ira? Remember Ira at car checks?
The traffic court at Mike jail, and that was ridiculous.
Right.
Yes.
Remember Ira? Okay. I had the presence of mind to call my job. I'm like, okay, well, fuck. All right, dude. Shit. All right,
So,
Ira. Yeah, I'm not coming back to work. I had to go to court at lunch. Remember? Yeah, ultimately I found out that I might end up getting locked up. And you know what he said to me? Okay, well, do what you got to do. And then when you come back, you've proven yourself to us. You got a job when you come out. That right there was like, we don't want to deal with you. It was like, yeah, okay, shit happened.
You know what? You had delayed calling. Can you still hear me, or am I losing connection again?
It's coming in and out, but I can go ahead.
I was going to say, if you had delayed calling and made all that up in your mind,
I might not have had a job.
Or you would have messed out for an hour while you were going through all the process thinking they're going to fire me, they're going to fire me. But the fact that you faced it, that worst fear, and said, hey, this is happening.
Let me make preparations. Let me call my mother.
Action that you were talking about.
Let me call my girlfriend. Let me call my mom. Let me call my job. And let them know, listen, I'm hearing from my lawyer here that I might end up going to jail behind this suspended license.
You're one of those people that would have went 60 days in, though. We treated it.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I knew that shit was going to be cool when I got out. So I just braced myself and said, okay, bitch, let's go ahead and go through this. Let's see hey, worst case scenario, let's see what it's like on the inside. You've seen Prisoner Cell Block H. Let's see if that shit's true. Let's observe. Let's move forward and experience it.
Experience life. As
you're tougher than you think.
Negative or positive, we're still here. So let's get in it. Let's enjoy it.
And now it's been what, 15 years since it happened. That's a moment in time in my life. But at that time, it was everything. Okay. So yeah. Yeah. That's the message for today. Go ahead and accept your worst case fear, your worst case scenario. And if you're in the moment living it, then go ahead and live it and know that it is not forever, and you will get through it, and you're tougher than you think, and you will be on the other side of this one day. And if you're not, then you're going to deal with it in the moment that you're in. But you are tougher than you think, and give yourself that grace, give yourself that credit. You will make it through, because all of us have, okay? And all of us will continue to do it until it's that time when you have no choice. It's over. So, I love all of you guys.
This one is
anybody on the replay game. Thank you. I'm glad, because it helped me too. And if it helped anybody out there, check this, do this for me. Share this stream. Get some people that you know may be struggling with some mental health issues to watch this. And also share, because the link to the video that helped me get in this place, once again, and it never stops. It's a process. Every day I'm renewing with that. You have to, okay?
Yeah,
Because the
that's what I'm
negativity comes back for
gathering.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, like
I
when we
keep
do
telling you
these,
that. You got to
it's
do
like
it
you got to be
every
consistent. It's so
day.
crazy. Everything in life I'm noticing, I'm going to make a list of things like one of these days, that these simple 5 things are what can get you through, and you take your whole
You
life
just got to
almost,
keep
darn it,
doing it.
to remember that this is the case. Everything I've ever done in my life, whether it's a job, whether it's advertising for our business, whether it's now mental health, whether it's been physical, and or diet or whatever, is consistency. Like the sun, we have to take a
Yep.
lesson from the sun. The sun comes up every day and goes down. Yeah, it might be cloudy, might be rainy, might be this, might be that. The sun is always there. It always comes up. The waves always keep rolling in. You just have to stay consistent with whatever you're doing. And this is no different. You've been
Think about a
preaching this.
bodybuilder. Think about a bodybuilder.
Mhm.
How did Arnold Schwarzenegger get those pecs? How did he get those biceps? By doing it every day consistently. As soon
Could
as you
you
stop,
imagine?
yeah, wait a minute. As soon as it stops, what happens to a bodybuilder when they stop working out? Flab.
Yep.
It goes. Did you think your body was just going to stay like that because you lifted weights for 10 years and you got to that point? Did you think it was going to stay? No. Same thing with negativity and inundation with anxiety. It's going to keep coming back. Okay? Let's deal with that in this moment. Okay? Accept that. That's never
It's
going
not going
to
to go
change.
away.
It's not. Accept it right now. It sucks. It is not going to change. But what is good about it is if you got tools now. You got tools, man. You got this stream. You got YouTube and things and books that you can read to inundate your mind with positive stuff.
You got
So
other people that are in the similar
yes.
situations or have gotten through things worse, if not the same, that
Yeah.
you've gotten through there. And it's like, okay,
Fight it
consistency.
again. You're gonna
And
have
then
to keep fighting it.
it's like, yeah, you can't expect that everything's going to go away. We were on the same page because you talked about the bodybuilder, and I was going to say,
Yeah.
could you imagine trying to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich by not being consistent? Oh, I got a piece of bread yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and throw that peanut butter on there tomorrow. You know how much long it would take you to make that sandwich? But here's the other thing to remember, which we always talk about, which I always come back at you with. Even though you might mess up, you didn't stay consistent, guess what? You can start over. Consistency starts in that moment. So even if
That's
you had
it.
a bad day and you didn't handle things
Don't keep
exactly
on
like you
having
should have,
bad days.
just even that next
Hit
moment, that
yourself
was
up.
me last minute. I'm ready to start over right now. I'm going to be this person right now. I'm going to start taking control of my fear. I'm going to take control of my, life. And control is really, it's sometimes people look at control as a bad thing. It's not. Yeah, you have to have acceptance and you have to let things come to you. However, when it comes to knowing what you can and can't do, you have to have that control to know that you are the person who ultimately chooses what exactly you think and
Yeah.
what you do and your action. So it was like
Control.
consistency, take action, don't react right away. Like I feel like you should put these together and we could do a stream, on like these 5 things that you
That's
can
what we're
rules to
doing,
live
honey.
by.
That's what we're doing. We can't do it all in one stream.
I
That's what this
know.
stream is
I
for.
want
We will
that's
do that stream too.
okay, cool. I'm excited.
you know but yeah, consistency is key, and you guys need to make sure that you realize that, hey, negativity is going to come for you, man. It's going to come for you constantly because that's the way we're wired. That's the way the brain works. But if you constantly lift those weights, lift those mental weights, give yourself ammo, put in stuff that resonates with you, that makes you feel better, that you can think about instead after you've accepted the worst case scenario, and then begin to focus on that thing. Don't keep
Mhm.
thinking about the bad thing. Okay, you've already done that, been there, done that. Move on to the good thing now. What's an alternative to this? Let's focus on that, because then you start to work towards what you're focused on. And if you're focused on the negative thing, that's what you're going to get. If you're focused on the positive thing, you're going to leave the negative thing behind and get to the positive place that you want to be. but you got to make that move, and you got to keep doing it every day. It's not something that's going to go away, but that's nothing. That's a small thing to a giant. We're all giants.
Jess said mental pain triggers physical ailments, immune system tanks, and all.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes.
Like, you gotta watch what your mind is doing, because it definitely relates to the physical. I'm always
Okay,
talking about
listen,
that.
I
You
don't
can
want to
watch.
cut you off. I don't want to cut you off, but I had a thought when you said the control thing, and I was talking through that, and I couldn't get to it. But let me go back to that just for a quick second, and I'll let you get your point out. Control is good in certain scenarios, right? Control is good when you're driving a car. Control is good when you're talking about your thoughts and your emotions. You cannot control other people. You cannot control inevitable situations like death. You cannot control things that you have no control over. You know what I'm saying? Like a company shutting down that you work for, okay? Or somebody that you love getting a terminal disease. Things you can't control, that's the stuff that you gotta let go. Accept it, the
That's
fact that you
that
can't
phrase.
control it, and let it go.
Accept
Yes.
those things which
But
what
the
is that?
stuff you can, that's good stuff. You can control the way you react to something. That's
Maybe
why I
then
named this J&J video Reacts, because it's not a what happens, but how the fuck you react to it. Sorry, I'm a sailor. I need to stop saying that. But you know what I mean?
yeah, you're
It's about
cooking
how
like a
you react
sailor.
to it. It's about how
Yeah,
you react to it and move forward from there.
exactly. It's that maybe it's having control over fear, that you need to have control over. Like you said, what you can control is what you have to have control, is what I meant.
Yeah, fear,
Exactly. You can't,
anxiety, stress, all of that is rolled into
because
one big ball.
thinking you can control the future and thinking you can control your own future that you create in the now. You can't control what happens in the future. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and that's where a lot of anxiety comes from. But you can take that control by doing the thing and taking
In
action
the
on what
now,
you want right now
that's
to
focused on
happen.
what you want to happen.
So technically, you are in control. In a sense, you're in control of you, and you're in control of your thoughts. But you
That's
can't,
it.
like you said, that's a
That's
perfect
what we
way
just
to look at it.
that's what we said. Yep. Good girl, man. Good girl. You got it. You got it. We're all learning. We're all learning. You know what I
Hey,
mean? So,
we are all definitely works in progress. But yeah, and I
aren't
was just
we?
wanted to finish my thought there that Jess was saying you actually can stop and identify those triggers when you feel something physical. You may have to like look deeper into your mind. If there's not a reason physically that you're feeling that way, then it could likely be something that's in your thoughts that you might need to flush out or get out, because
That's
it
a very
definitely
good
it's
point.
that's a one other reason to keep your mind as positive as it can be, and keep your thoughts, keep control of your thoughts, because
Dude,
what
let's
can happen is physically it can take a toll on you, and you can be the healthiest person in the world. However, you can have a really, you can make things happen physically. And we've talked about this before. I think, Jen, Jess, me, Dawn, like we've all had things physically, like when you hear something or negative, or you get scared of something, think about it. We feel it in our gut, we can watch a movie of somebody jumping out of an airplane and feel that in our stomach. So if that doesn't prove that the mind actually controls the body more than we think, then what does? Because I'm not there. I'm not jumping out of the airplane. Why am I feeling my, stomach drop like that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can hear something about somebody else and feel that in and it's good to have that empathy, but it also lets you know how much power your mind has over your body. Except that's a good one. I love this stream. I am going to have to get out of here, but I just wanted to say thank you.
You are so
I'm going
welcome, babe.
to accept that the stream is over. I have to accept it. I want to talk all night. Okay,
You better get back to work, girl.
I know. I'm
I
multitasking.
love you.
I'm
Thank
not
you
doing
so
a great
much for
job
being
of
here.
it.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
being on here. I appreciate you so,
Thanks for
so much,
having
honey.
me. Thanks for my midday
Always.
therapy.
Always, babe.
And
You
thank
get
you for
all day.
doing the stream. Please like, subscribe, and share this for people that might need it.
Yes. So I just wanted to say one last thing, and that is, I don't want to get away from the main message of today. While having control is something that we need to do, the way to do it is accept. Acceptance is key. Acceptance is liberating. Acceptance is what you do when you don't have a choice. And then that way, you guys can move forward and begin to focus on what it is that you want to happen. Acceptance is the way to have control. Because if you accept something, isn't it true that you're taking the power away from the thing that you fear? Aren't you taking fear away and breathe? Because aren't you going to end up moving forward anyway without a choice? So accept, and let go. And with that being said, everybody have a fantastic day. Love you all, and I will see you mañana 12.
I just actually felt myself breathe through that.
Hey, did you know that you could single-handedly help this channel grow by clicking the like button down here on the left? And if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe here on the right. Share the video with friends and family, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can get notified when we do new videos or live streams. Thanks!